Welcome back to Rivals of the East post-game show. Sean is on location, and I am in the comfort of my studio. But we're here today to talk about the dumpster fire that is the New England Patriots, and they lost a heartbreaker to the Green Bay Packers, 27-24 this past Sunday. Of course, Miami lost last Thursday to the Bengals, 27-15. We kind of talked about that on our last podcast we had with the Tua injury as well. But Sean, what did you make of this game with the Patriots and the Packers? I think you're on mute. There you go. Sean's got his fancy earbuds. There we go.
Well, actually, it was on the car speakers initially. That's why I took it off. But so I was a little bit stunned by the actual game itself because I did not expect inept play from the Packers. And part of the reason is that I saw later, which came to a stunner to many on the Patriots side, is Jalen Mills was a late inactive. So I honestly, as soon as I saw that, I went, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to have a field day because he's just lining up Jonathan Jones as the number one, Miles Bryant, and then a rookie. So you have the third and fourth stringer out there as your second and third. Wasn't the case. Patriots dominated the line of scrimmage when it came defensively. And then when it flipped sides, it was also the same case. Aaron Jones kind of ran all over, but when it mattered, he didn't run the ball well. Neither did A.J. Dillon. But
they got 200 yards on the ground, though.
Taken off surprise. Yeah, but what did it net them? When was it circumstantial? When did it actually work?
Yeah, 7
points. It worked
points
early when it didn't matter. Exactly.
Yeah.
Early on, they looked inept, like really bad in the first half. Aaron Rodgers looked extremely frustrated. He had wide receiver miscommunication. They should have been running outside. They were cutting inside. He was overthrowing them. It was bad. You know, anytime you have a rookie cornerback drafted in the 4th round, Jack Jones, force a fumble, take the ball, and then pick 6. Only the second time in Aaron Rodgers' career at Green Bay. So I'm sure that kind of stung a little bit.
Well, Aaron Rodgers was really mad. So was Bill Belichick. I don't think anybody was happy in that game. In fact, the fans, for the most part, just seemed to be like, thank God this game is over.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill always puts his guys in a position to try to win. You got to hand it to him. Of course, Brian Hoyer was named you guys a starter after Mac Jones was ruled out. And then Brian Hoyer throws 6 pass attempts, and then he gets concussed.
Yeah, it was a off the right tackle swing. Mondre missed the pickup on a chip block. The lineman actually had his actual assignment. He had an edge blitzer that they lined up their formation really wide. So that meant either the ball had to come out immediately or you had a running back pickup. Instead, he dropped into the flat zone and then turned around for the curl. He missed it completely. You know, Hoyer's blindsided, and in a exciting events, Hoyer's out of the game. Concussion. I didn't even wait for the reports. I just went, yeah, he's concussed. Because you know what? It is that clearly obvious. It is that obvious.
You armchair doctor, MD. You don't know what you're talking about.
I know it when I see it.
You don't know shit.
He got clocked in his head and ate the fucking turf.
His back.
And he was out. And guess what? He stayed out, and they named it concussed.
Listen.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
Wait until tomorrow when the injury report says back ankle injury. You'll eat your words.
No. This is Tom Brady with his shoulder that we've heard for 18 years. He was on the Patriots. But anyhow.
Yeah.
Patriots defensively, they gave the ball. They gave short field, special teams. Jack Jones, that guy, he is excellent at returning the ball. Gave the Patriots multiple 30-plus yard returns and allowed the Patriots to stay into the game. Very conservative play calling with Bailey Zappi. And in fact, I'd say it was probably correct, as much as Tony Romo shit on it saying it was too conservative. The Patriots were averaging 4.8 yards a carry, both runners. They both had a fairly good game.
Yeah.
And I went, anytime you saw Bailey Zappi sit shotgun, which I recently accredited Mac Jones with the same situation, he is not used to taking the ball out of center for play action calls, which is why I think you saw early Brian Hoyer's successes. Patriots were able to run their initial offense doing so, and it left them like pretty wide open with the efficient running. You saw Bailey Zappi sitting in shotgun and get blindsided at least 3 times, the same way Hoyer did. And that's just because the Patriots, they're too one-sided. When they go into pass formation, it's clearly obvious, and it's not going to work down the road. And I think ultimately they have to make a decision with Mac Jones. He needs to learn the offense and be able to play under center with his dropbacks when he's using his feet, when he pulls back, or he's not going to work as a quarterback in this offense. They run the ball way too good for them not to play action out of center.
Well, surprisingly, when I take a look at how New England's doing, they're fairly, middle of the field, maybe top 12 when it comes to running the ball. So they've got a pretty strong run game. So I can understand relying on that. I would have to say when it comes to like defensively, really, of course, as we've gotten through the course of like the first 4 games of the season, they've kind of fallen off, giving up almost 350 yards offense a game on average. But somewhat respectable, but they're just not quite there yet. I was surprised though. Green Bay is definitely a top 5 defense in standings.
And they didn't look it.
Well, here's the thing: they're top 5 in defense, and they're also like top 6 or 7 in offense, which is wild to think.
Yeah,
they're only right behind the Chiefs,
which is strange. Because Aaron Rodgers is one of the. I think if you look at the numbers with attempts and completions, I think Aaron Rodgers is actually one of the most mediocre quarterbacks in the league right now. He should be playing a lot better than he is, and that's due to having a lot of young receivers out there. You saw him connect with Randall Cobb a lot, and I think that's just he knows the play. He knows what to look for, and I think that's giving Aaron Rodgers some headaches. You saw a deep embrace after the game. Bill and Aaron Rodgers, they were hamming it up. Kind of looked strange. I'm not going to lie. He's definitely not a Bill guy, so I found it really weird. But outside of that, I'm not alluding to anything. I just say it was a pretty strange sight.
Well, Aaron Rodgers did come out and say he felt like he played his last game against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, probably. It's possible.
Highly possible.
Yeah, it's even more impossible when you think either Billy O'Brien or Josh McDaniels might be returning in the soon future, because it's starting to look that way. I actually think Matt Patricia called a pretty good game. You stay competitive, you move the chains just enough, you put it into overtime, and it literally looked like if you had even Brian Hoyer, the Patriots could have won this game.
It was very winnable. Very winnable. This is so the way that these teams work, it's so drastically different. If you look at the 4 teams in the AFC East, you have the Bills, who have a lot of their success due to, of course, quarterback play from Josh Allen, overcoming injuries. So they're a team that's based off of very strong depth. You have another team like the Dolphins that's based on speed and based on just quick, short passing, intermediate games. That's what we're really focused on. We can't run the ball, and our defense is very opportunistic, but they give up way too many yards. We're bottom 4 in the league. You have the Jets, who exist. You have the Patriots, who can run the ball but are struggling with the passing game. And the defense is right there at a respectable level. They're kind of trying to find that footing. So it's weird how these teams are right now. But the way I see it, Sean, is that the Patriots, they've got kind of a bit of a schedule coming up here, if I recall correctly. And in fact, let me take a look at what the Patriots' schedule is coming up here because Miami plays, of course, we play the Jets coming up this week, so that
We
should be a
play the
W.
Lions next week.
You play the Lions next week. Sean, would you be shocked if I told you that the Lions are the number one offense in the NFL?
No, I am not shocked whatsoever. In fact, that's something I've been following closely. It usually helps when you have three different players on your fantasy team from the Lions. As everyone knows, I was a bit of a heartthrob when it came to TJ Hawkinson when he came out in the draft. I also have DeAndre Swift. He's dealing with a serious injury. It also seems to be a similar case to Mac Jones, even in fact. But with the running back, that's not a good scenario. Yeah, the Lions, they've been throwing the ball pretty well. They have Goff, the oft moved on Rams quarterback because he was limited, but it's starting to seem Matt Stafford might also be limited.
Right.
It's kind of funny how that works out.
Had a good year. That's it.
Yeah, the Patriots defense, I want to say, I really didn't expect them to play as well as they did. And this is where it became evident. And I was wrong. I'm gonna go on note for this. What if I told you the Patriots played 70% of the defensive snaps on man against the Packers?
On man.
In zone is actually when they were getting tore up late in the game. I didn't expect that. It comes to a shocker. They don't have the players, I think, to do that, and they were very effective. Packers defense, outside of lining up wide and running straight at a quarterback that literally had no knowledge when it came to NFL.
Yep.
Packers defense seemed pretty inept. Outside of Gary, outside rusher, they didn't look great.
Well,
Alexander, I'll say, was out. That plays a part, but just as easily you could go, Patriots would have had Jalen Mills.
well, Sean, the Patriots are dead last in the AFC East for the first time since 2000.
Yeah.
And that's when it was the Colts in that division. There's 5 teams in each of those.
Am I wrong in my initial prediction that outside of a Mac Jones injury, I thought the Patriots were going to get 6 wins?
I think you said 7, but I gave a little more credit than that. I was saying about 9 and 8, something like that.
I had a pretty good feeling the Patriots were going to have a mediocre year. I said if they stay healthy, play over and above 10 wins at most, it's not going to happen. I think even if Mac Jones comes back and he plays better, I don't think they're getting 10 wins. It's not going to happen. I've moved on from it. It's next year. I'm looking forward to next year already. I'm hanging it up. Sorry, yeah, Patriots might get some lucky wins in there. They might slip up some, comebacks, whatever you want to call it. But
well, here's what you got ahead.
They're not
okay?
that team.
You tell me if you still stand by this. You've got the Lions, the Browns, the Bears, the Jets, the Colts, the Jets again, Vikings, Bills, Cardinals, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills.
5 wins.
5 wins out of
Still
that?
5 wins.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're going to lose against the Lions.
You think so?
Maybe. Yeah, they're going to lose against the Lions. They may beat the Browns. I think that's a possibility. Jets twice. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Vikings, because the Vikings seem chokeable. That's about it.
Yeah. We've got coming up here with Dolphins. We've got Jets, Vikings, Steelers, Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans, Niners, Chargers, Bills, Packers, Patriots, Jets to close out the year.
Yeah, it doesn't look good either.
So I'm going to say this too as we kind of wind down here today. The Tua saga continues, Sean. They the independent neurologist who evaluated him in the Bills game from week 3 has been fired. Sources cite
Shocker.
that he's been fired because of several mistakes quote unquote, that were made, and being a little difficult to work with in the process. Reports have also come out from those who have been doing a little bit of digging and research, saying that final say goes to the team doctor, who bases the final decision off of reports that are done and protocol by the
You
independent
mean the
neurologists.
team? That's who pay
So,
them. I'm just gonna say it.
yeah, so the controversy now is, of course, that, well, what mistakes were made? Because here's where it gets a little interesting. Because Sunday, week 3, Tua goes out with what many believe to be a concussion after his head completely bounces off the ground, and he gets up and he has to shake his head and get the cobwebs out. He can't walk and goes completely limp. Players hold him up. He goes into the tunnel. He's back out not even 30 minutes later. They say he passed concussion protocol. He plays the rest of that game. 4 days later, fast forward, in that time span, they've said that he hurt his back and he had an ankle injury, which I believe he did tweak his back on a quarterback draw or sneak. So that's quite possible. I think it was at a goal line scenario, maybe his ankle at the same time. So I'm not debating that, but they did not list the head injury. But then came out and said on Friday every day, I believe it was Thursday or Friday every day, he had been in concussion protocol. Which, why would he be in concussion protocol if he didn't have a concussion every day? If he passed it initially on Sunday, so that was a little red flag. But where we're at now is Tua did clear his MRIs and scans. He's completely fine, Sean. So we're just waiting to see where he's going to start. Is it the Jets? Is it a little bit longer? What's your hot take on it before we wrap up?
He's gonna start. Add more controversy. Yeah,
Jets
he's gonna
game?
start as soon as possible. Yep.
I think
Add
so
more
too.
controversy.
Think so too. We'll be back later this week, everybody, with our regular week preview ahead here, coming up on, what is that, week 6 now?
Yeah, quick.
Wow, it is passing by.
And you add another 4 games to the season.
No preseason, only season. Exactly. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. You can catch us on YouTube, all available podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast and Spotify and more. Sean, I'll catch you on the other side.
Yep. We'll have a live feed soon, guys. Take care.
Take care.